Okay, get this. Can you imagine suffering from horrible, debilitating migraines for decades, getting told by doctor after doctor that there's just no hope, and then suddenly they vanish forever, all because of a single adjustment to your hip? I know, it sounds absolutely impossible, but it really happened. And in this explainer, we're gonna break down exactly how.
So this is where it all starts. Just try to put yourself in his shoes. You're 10 years old, and your doctor looks at you and says that. For a kid named Richard Briggs, this wasn't just a medical opinion. It was basically a life sentence. And honestly, it's a phrase that so many people with chronic pain have heard, right? It just sets the stage for years and years of feeling like you have to give up.
All right, so let's really get a feel for the depth of this problem. We're not just talking about a few headaches, we're talking about years of severe, unexplained pain that completely shaped his entire childhood.
I mean, the persistence of this is just staggering. It all kicked off when he was only 10. We're talking 2 or 3 severe episodes a month, bad enough to get sent home from school constantly. For a full decade, he and his family went from specialist to specialist, just desperately looking for an answer. And the result was always the same. We can't find a cause, there's no cure, he was just told to deal with it. This wasn't some minor thing, This was a chronic condition that literally stole days from his life, month after month, year after year.
But then, when he was in his early 20s, something totally unexpected happened. The fix finally showed up, but it came from a place that nobody, and I mean nobody, had ever thought to look.
When you think about getting a chiropractor to help with headaches, your mind immediately goes to the neck, right? It seems like the most logical place to start. And that's exactly where his treatments focused for a long time. But here's the kicker. Adjusting his neck had absolutely zero effect on the migraines. None. Which just goes to show you, even when you're on the right track looking for a structural cause, the obvious answer isn't always the right one.
And this is the moment that changed absolutely everything. The root cause of the headaches that had stumped doctors for an entire decade, it wasn't in his head, it wasn't even in his neck, it was in his hip.
Okay, so this really gets to the heart of it. For 10 years, everyone was looking at the site of the pain, his head. It's like looking at the smoke and not the fire. But the actual source of the problem was way down the chain. Some kind of dysfunction in his right hip was creating this ripple effect of tension that traveled all the way up his spine and exploded basically as a migraine.
And the discovery was so clear-cut, so repeatable, that it became this simple formula. In his own words, he said he could get adjusted in the neck 100 times and it wouldn't touch the migraine. But one adjustment to his right hip and the migraine would just go away. Can you imagine? This wasn't just a cure for him, it was a total revelation. It actually inspired him to change his entire career path and become a chiropractor himself.
So, the big question is, how is that even possible? How can a hip problem cause a headache? Well, the answer is in this really cool principle of biomechanics that shows just how connected everything in our body really is.
The concept is called the kinetic chain. And honestly, the best way to picture it is like a line of dominoes. See, your body isn't just a bunch of separate parts working on their own. Nope, it's one big, integrated system. A problem in your foot can totally throw off your knee. A problem in your hip can start twisting your spine. When just one link in that chain gets out of whack, other links have to pick up the slack. And that compensation is what leads to stress and pain, often somewhere completely different. So in Dr. Briggs's case, that first domino to fall was a misalignment in his hip. That one little thing destabilized the entire foundation of his spine. So what happens, his spine starts to twist to compensate for it. And that stress doesn't just hang out in his lower back, oh no. It travels all the way up the chain, building and building more tension at the base of his skull until, boom, it triggers a migraine. And this, right here, is probably the single most important thing to take away from all this. The site of the pain isn't always the site of the problem. Let me say that again. Where it hurts isn't always where the problem is. The pain is often just the last domino to fall in a long line. The real cause could be hidden way back down the chain. Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. This is a great story, but is it just a one-off fluke, a cool anecdote? Not at all. There's actually a growing body of scientific research that backs up this whole structural approach to treating migraines.
Let's actually look at the data for a second. There have been a ton of studies on something called spinal manipulative therapy, or SMT, which is basically the clinical term for chiropractic adjustments. A big review of studies in 2019 found that SMT led to a significant drop in both the number of migraine days and how intense the pain was. And get this, a 2017 study found it was just as effective as common preventative medications. So the science has really been pointing this way for over a decade. The evidence is definitely there.
And that 2017 study is really worth paying attention to. When you literally put chiropractic adjustments head-to-head against standard preventative drugs, the results were pretty much the same in terms of effectiveness. But, and this is a big but, the study also noted a huge difference. The structural approach gets to the root cause without all the potential side effects that can come with taking a daily medication. That's a game changer.
So what does all this actually mean for you, especially if you or maybe someone you know is dealing with migraines? Well, it means it might be time to start thinking about the problem in a completely different way. Let's circle all the way back to that heartbreaking phrase from the beginning. Learn to live with it. Honestly, this might be the most empowering idea in this whole story. That phrase, it is not a final verdict on your health. It's just a statement about the limits of one specific provider's investigation. It means they've run out of answers. It doesn't mean answers don't exist.
So what are the big takeaways here? Well, there are a few key things to remember. First, your body is a connected system, that whole kinetic chain thing. Second, the source of your pain can be miles away from where you actually feel it. A problem can be silent where it starts, but really loud where it ends up. And probably most importantly, you have to challenge the idea that suffering is just inevitable. Look for doctors and practitioners who are willing to evaluate the whole person, not just throw a pill at the symptom.
And that really leaves us with this final, critical question. For anyone out there who's been told their pain is unexplained, or that they just have to endure it, the message from this story is crystal clear. Your pain is 100% real. The only question is, has anyone actually bothered to look in the right place yet?
I stopped trying to find a doctor who would listen, and I did this instead. For years, I was doing everything right. Eating clean, exercising, getting 8 hours of sleep, but I was still exhausted. I had constant brain fog, and my hormones felt completely out of whack. Every doctor told me my labs were normal, and it was probably just stress. I was about to give up until I found Holistic Health. It's a free AI wellness tool trained by functional medicine experts. I spent 5 minutes answering questions about everything: my symptoms, my sleep, my digestion, and it built me this. And this was the light bulb moment. It didn't just give me a list of problems, it connected the dots. It showed me how my gut health was likely impacting my hormones and how that was causing the fatigue and the brain fog. It even gave me a clear list of potential root causes, supplements to research, and even the specific lab tests to ask for. Its tip is secure. Over 77,000 people have used it, and it's 100% free to get your blueprint. If you feel like you're not being heard, start here. Understand your body first and then decide your next step.